Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, early morning accident on Kara Bridge involving 4 vehicles along Lagos-Ibadan expressway in Lagos claims 3 lives and causes massive gridlock for hours. Singapore's government rejects clemency appeal from Amnesty International for Nigerian on death row for drug offences. An academic staff union of universities embark on one-week warning strike. Senate President wades in a bid to avert an industrial crisis. South African magistrate court charges 2 white men with kidnapping after they forced the black man into a coffin.
On Business News tonight, the Central Bank of Nigeria to publish a list of beneficiaries of $600 million foreign exchange credit facility in the manufacturing and agricultural sectors.
And on sports news tonight, Nigeria's Falconets fight back with 3-1 victory over Canada to stay in contention for a place in the quarterfinals of the Under-20 Women's World Cup.
Hello, I'm Ibrahim Adran from the nation's capital. National Assembly commences consideration of President Muhammad Buhari's request for environment of 180.8 billion naira in the 2016 budget.
We begin tonight with the traffic accident that occurred on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway today, which left 3 people dead. The accident, which occurred on the Kara Bridge, involved about 4 vehicles, all completely burnt, after a truck carrying consumables ran into a tanker laden with diesel. Officials of the emergency services, as well as men of the police force, had a hectic day as they worked to clear the wreckage of the vehicles. Our correspondent, Joke Rogers, now reports.
The Inferno began as most Lagosians were waking up to a brand new day. Most commuters heading towards the Mowe-Bafo axis of the Lagos-Ibadan expressway were already expecting the usually heavy traffic because of the ongoing road rehabilitation. But no one was prepared for the horrific scenes waiting along the Kara market area. Residents living in the Berger, Isheri and adjoining areas say they heard a loud explosion in the wee hours of today. Eyewitnesses later reported it was caused by a collision between 2 heavy-duty trucks. A vehicle carrying biscuits ran into another laden with diesel.
So we are in our truck because there is hold up. So I'm in my truck when I hear a noise. After the noise, the next thing I see is fire. The tanker on my side just exploded. So, and I find it difficult to rush out from my vehicle with my boy. So we thank God we survived it. And we lost many things inside because everything burned down.
This is the aftermath. It's hard to tell the actual number of casualties at this time as bodies were burnt beyond recognition, but 3 fatalities have so far been reported. Evacuation of burnt vehicles have since begun with the fire service, police, LASEMA and FRSC combining resources.
What you have seen was a classical example of indiscipline that has been happening on this road since the commencement of the rehabilitation of the route. As you can see, there are about 4 vehicles involved, which means 2-lane carriageway had been converted to 4 lanes. And as a result, they struck themselves and there was a crash. And as a result, there was also an explosion of fire. But what is happening right now is that we have all mobilized and we are trying to see that the debris are removed and the traffic is restored.
With a higher percentage of accidents usually recorded at this time of the year, road safety officials have already started their Ember Months campaign, cautioning commuters to be extra careful. One of the measures being introduced is the speed limiter being installed in vehicles. As the year draws to a close, this will no doubt add to the statistics of road fatalities across the country. Officials are hopeful that with the increased campaigns, there might be a decrease in the number of accidents from previous years. Joke Rogers reporting for Channels Television News.
The accident may have been horrifying for motorists who had to wait several hours while the wreckage from the Kara accident was being evacuated. Today's experience may not go away from their memory anytime soon. The backlog of traffic stretched several kilometers on both sides of the road, setting motorists back several hours. Though the road has now been reopened that is, the backlog of traffic congestion may last a little longer. Correspondent Chris Illems now reports.
It's the ever-busy Lagos-Ibadan expressway, faced with one of its toughest days yet. A standstill, occasioned by a fatal accident that has left 3 people dead. While the dead and the debris are being evacuated, the motorists have nowhere to go. They are stuck due to a barrier created at the scene of the incident.
I'm supposed to be in Osogbo now to load back to Lagos. So see now I'm still here. Which time I want to reach Osogbo today? Which time I want to come back?
For some, it's a long trek. Which has impacted their shoes and slip-ons. The incident has set motorists back for almost 6 hours, and they're already counting losses.
Everybody has an appointment. Some have emergencies, some have health issues. I have an appointment somewhere. I ought to be in Imo by latest 4-5. But if I'm here by now, I don't know when I'm going to my place.
We need to get to Yola at least, let's say, on Thursday, because we have an event there and it's a wedding ceremony. And the wedding will take off, let's say, on Friday. And we don't even know if we are going to meet up to what we want to do now. And the contract is given to us already.
As for this transporter, he feels government should be more responsive by creating alternative routes.
For a whole Lagos state as a state of excellence, how can a single road enter Lagos and cause a heavy traffic over 6 or 7 hours? And now we are still there. There's nothing to be done.
The wreckage is cleared. And the road out towards Lagos finally opens at about 3:45 p.m. This is followed by a vehicular rush and a backlog stretching as far as Ojota. While the road may have been reopened for use to motorists, the effect of this incident will remain for a very long time. Chris Illems, Channels Television News.
Those are indeed the latest pictures from that very scene. The Gridlock witness on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway today seems to have eased on the Kara bridge leading out of Lagos, but the story has not changed though. On the other side of the road coming into Lagos, motorists coming into the city are having a hectic time doing so, as the lane has been blocked by those making their way out of Lagos, having been diverted to that lane as a result of a truck which fell and blocked the road around the Otedola estate end of the bridge. Joining me on the news at 10 to discuss the accident and the traffic situation along the Kara Bridge is the FRSC Sector Commander, Lagos, Mr. Omije Hygienist. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the news at 10. What are the situation that we're looking at now? An accident occurred early hours in the morning. It took a span of at least 10 hours to get that wreckage off. Why is the response time so bad?
No. I think it was not about the response time. It was about the magnitude of the wreckages that needed to be removed, and of course, again, the equipment, that had to be used if you look at it very well, a breakdown of that crash shows that we had one container carrying a truck fully loaded with containers. We had about 2 trailers. We had a tanker loaded with 33 liters of AGO, that's diesel, and we had another small car. Okay, if you also look, we had only 1 crane there that was provided by Lagos State LASEMA response unit, and of course 1 flatbed. So it was a case of the crane would pick one, put on the flatbed. We had to go and the same crane will have to go and offload it somewhere around OPIC where we were putting it by the police station there for security purposes, and come back again and take it. At a point in time, we had to contact Julius Berger to also give us payloader to take the debris of those flour. One of those trucks, the trailer, was fully loaded with flour, which, despite the dampening of it by the fire service, the thing was still burning inside. So at a point in time, you could not just take it off like that. We had to empty the whole content of the trailer on the road. Then the fire service now extinguished it properly. Before the payloader from Julius Berger came, we were able to remove all the wreckages around 3:45, 4 p.m. this evening.
Let's talk about the accident itself. What were the options available to you to create an alternative emergency route, just so that people are able to maneuver around this accident and get to their places?
We had 2 alternatives, but the problem is that some people are just used to this particular route, that no matter the warnings you give them, telling them to divert, they will not just heed to it. As soon as that crash occurred, I got in touch.
So the people were defiant?
Yeah, as soon as it occurred, I got in touch with the Lagos State traffic radio, announcing it, that people going out of Lagos should seek alternate routes. And the most viable alternate route was take Ikorodu Road, get towards Ikorodu, bust out at Shegamu, and continue wherever you are going. If you are going to Ijebode, you could just take by. If you are going to Shegamu, you could just get like this and come to the interchange, and then continue either to Ibadan or Abeokuta, as the case may be. But they didn't heed it. Okay, we also told people that, look, another alternative is, can you just take through Abule-Egba, connect to Osango Ota, A4, then bust at Abeokuta, and then come to Shegamu interchange, and there you find your way to wherever you are going. I can tell you that if somebody had heeded it and you were with your car and you followed any of these alternate routes, then you could have been off these things long time. You've gotten to wherever you are going.
I believe you said that you used some platforms to make this announcement.
Exactly.
Which are the platforms did you use?
We went on air. Lagos State Traffic Radio was announcing it over and over. We also posted it on our Facebook and on our Twitter handles. And it's like people were not just ready to take any other thing other than the routes they were. So we had no option but now to divert traffic the way and manner it was diverted. We had to divert traffic from the Cone Oil end, coming because of that the truck you mentioned. And it was really a red letter day for us in Lagos today. While we were battling with that one, another truck fully loaded with PMS also fell before the mobile, shortly before the Otedola. So we had to cordon off that area to divert traffic through the Cone Oil, and they had to use 1 lane until they pass Kara and come out again by OPIC. And considering the volume of traffic that leaves Lagos, and today in particular, when most of those traffic are trucks and tankers coming from Apapa, then your guess is as good as mine. That was just why we had what.
Now, from the videos that the report we just played, you could see people just hanging just by the bridge. It's a risk for them as well. And then we're looking at most vehicles taking a one-way back.
Yep.
What dangers does this pose?
Great danger. And we tried to warn people. We tried to ward them off. But I don't know why we drive so much pleasure in turning crash into either a cinema or a movie house. You don't have anything doing there. you just need to continue, because there could be a secondary explosion in the course of that and that thing. But thank God that we didn't have such things like that. There could also be another secondary crash where a vehicle could lose control and run into those multitude of a crowd that you saw as contained in that video. We kept on talking to them. Some were apparently standing or even sitting at the edge of that bridge, which in the event of maybe any stampede or anything, the man would just fall into the Ogun River.
Mr. Omeje, I want to thank you so much indeed for talking to us on the news at 10, the FRSC Sector Commander, Lagos. Many thanks indeed for your time. In part 2, after the break, Academic Staff Union of Universities and back on 1-week warning strike. Senate President meets union's leadership in a bid to avert an industrial crisis. Please join us again.